Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of Khemia. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, it's on itch.io for free. And if you want to support, not particularly this game because it's on hiatus, but games similar to this like Intera, then you can go to their website on Patreon and, support them monetarily. Anyways, on the last Let's Play, the main character, Scipio, was, reliving his old events and taking it poorly, from the riots and, seeing a person warped and splattered all over the place because of the assassination attempt. And me, but more specifically Neferu, had a bit of a talking to for being so, brazen and going out into the Clay District where, we could have been assassinated. And Neferu said that, his, because he had a place, but the, wolf in charge of that was renovating it, and he didn't think it was important to tell Amicus, and Amicus is like, yeah, the ambassador, is kind of important to me, so you should tell me. So just lots of things going on. Especially assassination attempts. But also, wolves being apparently, not the greatest group in the galaxy. Anyways, when I get back to Neferu's room, I find them already asleep on the bed. It's certainly much more exotic than the rest of the palace. But being in the Emperor's room, that makes sense. So wait, this is the Emperor's room? Huh. Very planty, though, nature tends to be more calming and better than nothing. I see a few curtains stacked in one corner of the room, which I presume to be our belongings crates. I'm too tired to look at them now. However, I find myself slumping into the smaller bed. Even if it is smaller, it's quite a bit more comfortable than any bed I've slept in. Also, why are we sleeping in separate beds? Weren't we, sleeping in the same bed prior, after, not really coitus, but, something intimate. Within less than a minute, the gurgling fountain behind me lulls me into a deep sleep. Oh yeah, and we also bathed and called Mom and immediately broke down. I sat at the edge of the pond, letting my feet cool in the water. I was only a little confused when I woke up in the palace. I very quickly remember what happened the night before. It's somewhat easier to think back on now. Still, there's an odd, dreamy quality to what I see, almost like a filter between me and the world exists. It's a familiar, numbing feeling, and I sit there in front of the fountain, feeling as if I'm staring through the fog I cannot see. This happened last time too, though it's not nearly as bad. Shortly after the riots, I was seeing everything as if it were a film. A terrible, depressing film, but at least it didn't feel real. That is kind of a thing that I kind of feel like, but with regards to good events that happened a bit while ago. Where it's like, did this really happen? It did, but still, it's like, I feel a bit detached from it, which is odd. Like, it seems too good to be real. It was just a small event. Anyways, a defense mechanism my mindfulness teacher had to call it. He says mindfulness quite a bit. I bet that's the guy that might have got his head smashed in. I'd left Neferu still sleeping in the bedroom, hopefully that he might seek me out, and extremely relieved that he does. Neferu coming to look for me tells me that he's still interested in me, which I remind myself is something I need to keep up. He stumbles out, looking a bit more unkempt than usual, squinting at the bright light. Getting fresh air? I just need I wave my paw around, mimicking him from last night. Space. If space is what you'd like, I think you really enjoy the deserts of Khemia. You know, I come from a region of Adastra that is desert. No, wait. I come from... It's kind of hard to do the inflection when you don't know the entire sentence until you actually read it. Yes, but no one on Adastra is like a desert of Khemia. Yeah, lots of dunes, right? Among other things, but yes, many of those. I think back to my primary schooling. I would go to the library and obsessively examine the educational murals of Khemia, the sprawling dunes below, and the bright moon above. Educational murals. I guess. Meanwhile, jackals dance in the moonlight. Ooh. It was probably the beginning of my obsession with Khemia, and Neferu reminded me that I might be able to go. It penetrates through my numbed fog, and I feel some excitement, but also apprehension, because I know I need to talk to Neferu about last night if I'm ever going to rest easy. It must show on my face. What's wrong? Can I speak with you for a moment about something I'd like to keep private between us? Neferu walks closer to the edge of the pond. Well, it depends on what that something is. Promising to keep a secret before knowing it is. Ahotep. I jump to, bringing my paws to my chest and ducking my head. What? Let's just back a bit. Promising to keep a secret before knowing it is. What? Look back at the jackal as he stumbles back, staring with wide eyes at the ground behind me. Look down, finding nothing but stone and a garden spider. I look back up at him, my heart hammering to bits in my chest, trying to fight off the rising panic. What is it, Neferu? If he's playing games with me, in my current state, I don't think I would be able to forgive him. But now he's shuddering, looking angry. Oh gods, damn your 8 eyes. It's every time in this awful garden. Look at the spider, motionless, legs fanned out to touch either side of the pond's stone's border. Are you speaking to the spider, Neferu? And how the hell do you sit next to it? It's disgusting. I sit there confused, completely thrown off by the sudden violent reaction from Neferu. What's wrong with it? Everything. Sorry, I can't do inflections. A, I'm not a voice actor. B, I'm kind of with family, so they might be a bit more, interested in what I'm talking about if I'm doing lots of inflections. I start to smile a little. Are you afraid of it, Neferu? You know that their venom is hardly. I know, many of you wolves remind me of this. It doesn't change the fact that it's abomination. I don't know about abomination, but it's maybe a bit weird. I wouldn't want to be near one, but still. But abomination seems a bit high on the list. Look back down the creature, frowning before poking one of my claws at the very back of its abdomen. Like lightning, it skirts away, up to the border, and towards a pillar. They're the most natural and effective form of pest control. Damn, I can't speak. Back when I was a pup, I would catch them to keep as pets. Neferu watches the spider warily before approaching the edge of the pond, looking about carefully before finally sitting next to me. Cultural differences, I suppose. I think back to my studies of Khmean wildlife, of the many dangerous and extremely venomous creatures that prowled through the deserts. Are spiders dangerous on Khemia? I know other arachnids can pose a threat. Scorpions, I think they're called. The creatures with incredible stinging tails. Neferu dips his feet in the water with a sigh. Incredibly painful stinging tails. Even on this planet, I shake out my clothing and bedding. It became a habit after an instance with one of the loincloths during my youth. Well, if I would do the same too. I mean, if you ever catch yourself in with a zipper, yeah, you keep that in mind. I only say that I would prefer to be kicked in the groin by a new champion. And if you're arachnid, it's completely reasonable. Amicus would say otherwise. I'm glad to know a wolf that's more understanding. Now, you want to confide me about something? A light-headed conversation becomes a heavy one once more, and I sigh, wondering the best approach. A quick one, I think. Neferu, I've come to enjoy your company over the past year, and especially the past week. I feel we're becoming true friends. Woven friends. I know we are already friends by Khemian standards. What can I say? You make great conversation. Thank you, but I do feel that because of that, I should tell you some things about myself that could be important. So, I want to explain what happened last night. I see. I will let you speak without interruptions then. Well, there's not much to say, simply that I had a terrible experience 3 years ago, during the Cato riots. Some wolves decided to target the university. Now, was that post Adastra or... I guess if you overthrow the, emperor at the time, then, yeah, there might be a riot or something. Oh, no, wait, maybe it was during the time, because I think there was a riot when the emperor was attempted assassination, Cato took control. They stormed the dormitories, attacked the students and facility. I was caught and humiliated in various ways, and then beaten. Woof. I look at Neferu's reflection, but he's only looking at me with a stoic face. My experience was mild compared to the others. I witnessed many terrible things. This all left an impression in my mind, a sort of... I furrow my brows, trying to think of the right words to describe it. Like an ache, but in my mind. One that I have mostly been able to overcome. But the events at the den, it's irritated that ache quite a bit. The reaction you saw from me, that was why. Being awoken suddenly, then witnessing what happened, it left me unprepared. But I'm prepared now, and I doubt that ache will return. I just wanted to explain it to you, as a friend. Though, it is something I only tell friends. So, I hope you can keep this between us. I wait for a moment. Already somewhat happy with my tactics in explaining this to him. But he stays quiet. Anxiety ripples up in place below my diaphragm. Look up at Neferu, though he's no longer looking at me. I hope I was able to make sense. My mind is not broken. I understand what is real. It's more like a glitch that can be easily patched. I mean, I guess they do have computers. More silence. My heart sinks. Damn it. I should have known. Why was I so hopeful initially? Neferu is a Khemian. He knows when something is inefficient and won't hesitate to replace it. That's what I am. I was being selfish, trying to stay on the mission. I suppose you're upset with me? I mumbled dejectedly, feeling myself want to cry. I keep myself from doing so, partly by biting my cheeks and keeping the corners of my mouth from tilting downward, something I've done since my earliest memories. It sometimes helps, for whatever reason. Neferu finally looks at me. Scipio. Yes? I keep my voice light and attentive. I am upset, but not with you. I am frustrated with many things. I suppose I'm upset with Adastra as a whole. Jacko's voice is heavy and distant. Adastra? I know that you know this, but the catalyst of those riots involved me to an extent. Of course I do. I'm still surprised that he's talking about this. No one talks about it. Not to the 2 years that I've been involved in the mission. Not in the 2 years. So I assumed it would never be discussed. I clear my throat. I do know, yes. When I was kneeling in the amphitheater, certain that my life was about to end, I was at peace. In fact, you might even say I was willing to die, especially at the time. The Neferu's tail trails his paw through the water again. But then I was saved by a friend. Shortly afterwards, I witnessed his neck being slashed instead. At that moment, he was leaning against me. I saw his neck in detail. I then got to witness his final moments with his lover. I continued to listen, keeping my expression attentive, though I know the full story and am confused as to why he's bringing it up. The human sacrifice saved Amicus's rule and Neferu's life. I would have thought of it as an intensely joyous moment for the jackal. He was very brave. Neferu was quiet for moments, still playing with the water. Yes, though he denied to tell you that he simply never knows what he was doing. He only goes with the flow, or something along those lines. I frown a bit, even more confused. Anyway, I tell you this because that experience changed something within me. I don't believe that I have ever feared death until that very moment, when I was right next to it. For the first time, I watched a sapient, a friend, transgression from existence to nothing but an empty, damaged vessel, cradled in his lover's arms. Now, I think I understand. Memories surfaced from that bright blue sky. The Professor Urbiscus laying on his back in the street next to me as I played dead. I watched his fitful eyes. I watched his fitful death throes, his last sporadic moments as his damaged brain struggled to continue its existence. And then it failed. Mine continues clouding slightly, and Neferu notices. Neferu. Sorry, are you alright? Clear my mind. Yes. I should be more delicate, but my point is exactly this. We share a terrible moment 3 years ago, one that still deeply affects us to this day. He pauses. Excuse my Khemian ways, but Neferu's arm is suddenly around my shoulders, pulling me in towards him until my muzzle is right next to his, and he rests his head against mine. I freeze up slightly, definitely unused to contact such as this. A-E-Y. I hear Neferu's voice, unfiltered through my lingua for the first time, and of course he speaks perfect, beautiful Khemian. There's a word for it. Old pain. I know that wolves do not, which makes it all the more frustrating. Here, you're expected to face inner turmoil alone. This upsets me. I relax a bit, then lean to Neferu more, particularly because I'm happy to be part of anything Khemia. Khemia? Yeah. And also because it's actually comforting. I understand that Neferu is telling what Neferu's telling me now. Sorry, I try my best, but sometimes it's so you have to warm up quite a bit. A lot. For me. I never expected this, the son of the Pharaoh, to struggle with ache like I do. So, understand that you don't have to hide your struggles from me. I'd rather help you manage them. It's a comforting thought, knowing that I can confide in someone, rather than just my mother, but I worry that I'll be dismissed from the mission if it becomes obvious to the others. Suddenly, I just laid bare my deepest fears to this jackal, that I've met in person a total of maybe a few dozen times. I realize that I must be Adaster's worst spy, and the always suspicious part of my mind wonders if I'm being purposely manipulated. But this feeling of comfort is so rare and welcome that I don't care at the moment. I've always admired Khemia culture. For the first time, I feel as if I'm being included in it, and it's wonderful. I know. And I would have considered that if the mission involved a dangerous situation. The fire finally lets go, leaning back on his paws. On the contrary, I believe going to Khemia might help you, especially if you were only there to record and experience, as you said. Well, thank you, Neferu, for giving me the Khemian experience. It's refreshing to say what I'm thinking. Liberating, is it not? Keep practicing, and you'll fit in more once we arrive in Khemia. Why don't you practice on me? I'd like some blunt answers right about now. Bruce's deep, rumbling voice carries me out of my hazy relief and happiness, and we both turn to see the big wolverine standing about 10 paces behind us. How a creature so large managed to sneak up on us is beyond me. Morning, Brutus. Decided to join the Palace Club? So I guess he was in a war or something? He does have that marking there, so... I was escorted by a bunch of drones, so I didn't exactly have a choice in the matter. Oh, no wait, maybe I can understand now. He's not, related to Khemia, and he's probably one of the children that, are on the same level, Someone's testy. Someone's about to explain to me what the hell they did last night. He notices my ears fall back for a moment. Not you, Skip. I already know that whatever happened is his fault. Neferu smirks in response. If you want the details, you'll have to accept my invitations one of these days. Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm really damn curious as to why there isn't more footage of people kicking you in the balls, Neferu. It seems to quickly sour Neferu's mood. Because, Brutus, video recording devices are Lexion Adastra. Brutus seems to ignore the jackal, instead looking at me. I still don't think it's your fault. Maybe you can tell me what happens so we're not all wasting our breath. Neferu steps in then. Someone attempted to attack us. Likely someone from the separatist groups. It's under investigation. The immediate situation was taken care of, but Amicus is taking extra precautions to keep us all safe until we depart Khemia. Attack? Well, like a political attack crap? Some serious attack crap. Serious. But I will tell you the details later. For now, just enjoy the rare opportunity of being able to reside in the Grand Adastrian Imperial Palace. Oh, as long as you two are okay. Honestly, this place gives me the creeps after what happened to you. That and the fact that they've got drones around. I'm especially on edge because all my stuff got spirited away on a bunch of drones to who the hell knows where, and my medicine went with it. Big Wolverine takes out his odd little pipe, the one that gave him the herbal smell I recognize him by, though no smoke came out of it. I clear my throat. Calm? There's a moment during the pause in which Neferu and Brutus look at me, and I wonder if I made a fool of myself trying to communicate with the AI while outside. Then thankfully, yes, Scipio? Can you locate Brutus's belongings? You were flying them by drone? They have been dropped on the roof. Ooh, on the roof? What? Other information to note, Brutus's luggage contained an illegal preparation of Khemia plant Papi to be vaporized in a pipe contraption. What? It was probably destroyed, and a report was filed to Amicus, suggesting a 100-year prison sentence for Brutus. What? Neferu walks over to talks over the angry growls coming from the Wolverine. Why was it dropped on the roof comm? To follow cargo load protocol, all Khemia Alliance mission members have had their personal belongings moved to the roof. Cargo loading? We're not leaving here until I get my damn pipe, Pap. I'd rather rip off my other arm than have to go through the stretch without my medicine. It's just a moment. Just a moment. Does that mean the ship has arrived? Well, I suppose it couldn't be anything else, unless we're going somewhere I wasn't aware of. It's here. Here. Oh, okay, I was like, that doesn't sound like him being like, it's here. What I believe to be Vetri screeching across from the gardens reaches our ears. I look around in confusion, and then... Holy shit, where did you... The ship has entered the atmosphere. I can smell it from my beard hairs. Richard's manic demeanor seems to disturb the two friends, which is understandable if you've never seen him in such a state. It even frightens me occasionally, though I feel this amount of excitement is justified if a ship we've all been waiting for the past 3 years is actually arriving. How far away is the ship, Com? The arrival is approximately 2 minutes and 32 seconds. Scipio. I'm a bit distracted, trying to think of if I've done everything I need here on Dasher before I leave for at least a year. I know I have, but I always feel I missed something. Beatrice is adamant on getting my attention through, leaping in front of me. Scipio, my boy. His voice is transfixed into a hoarse whisper. Remember this moment. Cherish this moment. He then yanks me down into a kneeling position before grabbing my head, rather roughly, and tilting it towards the sky. Behold, your first view of Khemia tech. Let's inspire you, Scipio. This is what a Dastra can be. At first, I didn't understand the significance of the ship. Rich's excitement did seem a bit overblown, even for him. It's descended in a quiet, controlled manner, as the sun made the metal gleam. I did not think that it was all that different from Adastran ships. Indeed, it appeared a bit more smooth in its architecture, and it was definitely larger than I'd seen before. But it was simply that, a different version of what I had seen in the past. However, as I waited on the roof for takeoff preparations to be made, I finally realized why it was so significant. This isn't parental tech, it's Khemia tech. Unlike the many ships that fly through the air above the capital, it was not gifted by the parents to the Khemians. This was built by the Khemians themselves, by engineers that were not only knowledgeable of how to fix ship components when they broke down, but how to actually build them. And when taking in this consideration, it's certainly impressive. I've known this to be the case since studying Khemia history and culture, but for some reason, it's hard to comprehend. It even frightens me a bit as I climb aboard the sibling-built craft, even though it appears to be more comfortable and even more stable than machinery built by the parents. Its sense of awe and reverence comes to a sudden end, however, as we board and walk through the corridor. It's when I peer out the window. I'm looking over a lake, a rather pleasant view, before suddenly the view zooms backwards. It happens so fast, they go from seeing the Imperial Gardens to seeing what I realize is the entirety of the moon, all over the course of a few seconds. I guess as we launch off, that would be a good time to call it. So anyways, oh yeah, I can't remember if I said this at the beginning, so I'll say it again. If you're interested in this game, it's free on itch.io. And if you want to support the people that make this game, specifically this game because it's on hiatus, but who knows when I, post this, in what, half a year? Yeah, go to their Patreon. So anyways, please comment, because I like comments, if you like, dislike, tips, because always, if you like my YouTube and would like to see it grow, then please like, subscribe, and share the videos that have grow, and please remember, expand your animals, help control the pet population. And until next time, I'll say, me, GamerWolfSix of Adastra. I'm sorry. Well, kind of Adastra. It was like Adastra Khemia? Sorry. But Khemia, yeah. So, yeah. I'll be looking forward to this game. Probably when I come back. But though, I'm going to try to do as much as I can before I leave. So thanks and see ya.